I do like Corroder. He's another very well designed Hero Factory villain. Now why don't we take a closer look at this excellent set, and also we'll take a look at some of the pieces that are included here, and we'll see how we can use them in our own LEGO creations. Then let's finish by taking a look at 3 revamps of Corroder. Let's do it. Look at my boy. I really like the repeated use of these lime spike pieces, using them for these larger claw-like weapons, but also placing some of them on the back as well. It gives Corroder this wonderful, feral and menacing look. Bad guys with spikes all over their body, it just looks so deliciously evil, doesn't it? On top of having these nice razor-sharp claws, he of course has some toxic powers. The wiki says that he just spits out poison, which is kinda gross. But surely those spikes are laced with poison or toxic waste or something. Actually, Corroder makes up this nice unique trio of toxic-themed villains. We've got Meltdown, Toxic Reaper, and of course, Corroder. Together they're like the toxic trio, the poisonous posse, the toxic triumvirate. It's interesting how we got so many villains that had a pretty similar power set. Now otherwise, Corroder can get into all kinds of fantastic poses. They can stand up on 2 legs, and they look pretty good doing so. Or he can be hunched over, resting on his little claw hands. This way he assumes a bit of a quadrupedal look. And this is actually how the instructions tell you to pose the set. And this hits different, dude. That spiky back, those big old claws when he's hunched over like this. Dude looks terrifying. This set is everything that I want in a villain character. Great weapons, cool looking colors, a sick mask, as well as a very exotic and distinct design. Corroder's great. But what about the pieces that come in this set? Are they any good? Let's discuss. How good is Corroder's mask? I love this unicorn horn that's stemming out of the front. A builder that goes by IGU has used 2 of these masks on the shoulders of a revamp of Toxic Reaper. Isn't that clever? And these large spikes, I think they look even better when they're used in this manner. Seeing a mock like this, it makes me think that if you got all the pieces from Corroder and all the pieces from Toxic Reaper, you could just mush the 2 together and create some sort of awesome poisonous bad guy. That'd be great. The lime claw pieces that you get in this set, which Bricklink simply refers to as Corroder claws, these just look so good. And it's wonderful that you get 6 of them in this set. The underscore double uses these pieces for a very distinct spider-like leg design. The rest of this mock, it's got blades and spikes sticking out of pretty much everywhere. So these pieces, they fit right at home within this aesthetic. So good. The set also comes with a couple of these Ben 10 upper leg pieces in black. Another builder who is also called Ben, they've used them on their creation, which is simply titled Easy Way Out. If we zoom in a little bit here, it looks like they've used them on the upper legs. Nothing too crazy. They've used an upper leg piece for upper leg armor. It's really not that different to how Corroder uses this piece. But see how they've wrapped these 2 tire pieces on the top and the bottom section of the upper leg? There's something about that design that looks so satisfying. The texture of these inverted tires, it pairs flawlessly with this leg piece. So go and grab some tires and wrap them around this piece next time you use it in a mock. We also get these great shield pieces. The set asks you to put stickers on them, but if you leave them blank, I think it opens up a lot more ways that you could use them. For example, they're used very well here on this work-in-progress creation that was built by Clockwork Guardian. Branching these fingers off of this large shield piece, I think that looks so good. It's a bulkier hand design that's probably going to work a little bit better on your larger sized Titan builds, because it looks so robust, so dense, and so sturdy. It's top tier, man. And I don't think you could make something like this if you didn't have this nice shield piece. These pieces could also be used in a similar way to how MOCs has used them. As you can see, the upper leg design uses this piece. I think it's clever. It replicates a nice muscular and strong looking thigh. I love it. And I love the rest of this mock too. A funky head design that looks vaguely bug-like. It's very nice. So that's a few different ways that you could use the pieces that come in this set. Now, let's see a few revamps of Corroder, and we'll give you a little bit of building inspiration. Starting off with one of my favorite revamps of this set, this is built by Dylan Meaves. I imagine the premise for this revamp was simply just to add a bunch of spikes onto the design. And it works really well. How good does this new back design look? Dylan has introduced a lot of these lime spike pieces that came on the wonderful set, Gresh. You can see these pieces on the shoulders, you can see them on the upper legs too. And dude, these pair so well with these larger Corroder spike pieces. I think it also works well because Gresh's spike piece, it naturally has 3 spikes coming out of it. And on the hands of this Corroder, he now has 3 spikes coming out of there too. A little bit of consistency and repetition, it always goes a long way, it's good to see. Also, the upper leg design here, it's using Wenua Hordika's mask. Very clever. Now we move over to a revamp of Corroder that's titled Corroder 2.0. This is a fairly different take on the character. No more spikes, no more hunched over design, but he's sporting some nice snazzy silver armor. You know, I don't mind the idea that Corroder just totally changed his look. Nothing wrong with that. Or perhaps his body was severely damaged and now he needs to wear this sort of robotic armor to continue living. You see, that's the joy of Hero Factory. You can take characters in all sorts of weird and wacky directions, and it works. Also giving him plenty of weaponry like a shoulder-mounted turret, a blaster on his wrist, and a handheld one too, is good stuff. Also, great idea to use the Jango Fett Star Wars Ultra Build torso piece for the torso piece on Corroder. Yes, if you're familiar with Jango Fett, that's going to look a lot like his torso armor, but taking it outside of the context of Star Wars and putting it on a Hero Factory character, instead it just starts to look like some really fancy detailing on some kind of like vaguely sci-fi protective suit. Some of those Star Wars Ultra Build pieces can be way too specific and hard to use outside of the context of Star Wars. Thankfully, this is one of those pieces that has a pretty wide variety of usage. And now the last version of Corroder for today, this is by Stereod. Now I mentioned before how Corroder can stand so that he's basically a quadruped. Well, the fact that this mock is modified so that it's always a quadruped, it just kind of makes sense. If you're looking for a way to revamp a character, have a think about how you might be able to reshape the body. I think that in itself is a good impetus to help you get inspired and get you building. We see that this mock also changes up the back design, similar to how Dylan did. And also they've swapped out the orange eyes for trans neon green eyes. So many wonderful new additions on this creation. How wonderful. There you go, team. That's some ways that you can use the pieces that come in this set. That's how you can revamp Corroder. And that's why I love this set. If you enjoyed the mocks that I showcased in today's episode, be sure to take a look at the links in the description below. You can see more from the builders right there. Are there any other Hero Factory sets you'd like me to review on the channel? If you've got a specific set in mind, let me know in the comments below. Now, I have actually done a large amount of set reviews already. It might also be worth checking the playlist on my channel that's titled Set Reviews. Have a dig through there and maybe one of your favorite sets has already been reviewed. Check it out. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, guys. Happy building, and bye for now.